You're listening to the On the Bounce podcast, the show that is the ultimate source for all MLS fantasy news, tips, and everything else you need to dominate your leagues. Me, I'm JK, and I'm joined as always by my two hosts, Brady and Jarvis. Together, us three make up On the Bounce, and we're here to give you the best advice we can, along with some pretty great entertainment. Now, with all this out the way, let's jump right into today's episode. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the On the Bounce podcast. This is episode 3. This is our doubleheader week, aka our normal week. Every Tuesday, every Friday. So we are back. It's me, your boy JK. You know who I got with me as always. Brady, aka Gravy the Gaffer. What is going on today, my dude?
Moy lads, it's good to be back. The On the Bounce podcast, best fantasy podcast for MLS in the world.
Literally in the world. And of course, we always got with us Josh Jarvis, Big Baby. What's going on today, mate?
Oi, bruvs. How we doing, boys?
I'm doing good. I got a spot of tea next to me. I'm ready to bruv it up.
Chipper, mate.
You know it, bruvs. Okay. Sorry to every single English fan that we just offended. I don't care, though. Oi, bruvs. Oi, mate. I love you all.
You got no fans.
So today's episode is, the Friday episodes are always going to be short, quick hitters, but full of great things you need to know for the upcoming week in fantasy. So what we're going to go over is our key starters of the week, players that we think you have to start in your starting 11, and of course the captain's log, aka all of our captain's pick of the week. So before we jump right into that, we're going to go ahead and cover some quick breaking news, some CCL news, injury news, anything else that we missed since the Tuesday episode. So going over CCL, the Red Bulls and ATL both lost, sadly, so they are now knocked out of the CONCACAF Champions League, which means we only have left Sporting KC from the MLS and the USA. And, let me check, so far, they are 31 minutes in to today's second leg, and it's still 0-0, which means they're still losing 2-1 on aggregate. So let's hope Sporting KC can turn that around and keep MLS in it, but going on to some more MLS news. For injury news, we only got 3 people to quickly touch on, and it's the 2 LA Galaxy boys, Ibrahimovic and Alessandrini. Both still are out for week 3, so be sure you keep an eye on that. Don't go trying to buy either one of those unless you're tanking, and this is an NBA, so I don't know why you're tanking. And then the other injury is my boy, Tesho Akindele. He is still out after getting injured early in the last match in week 2. So those are the 3 key injuries that we know of and that we want to let you know of. And then the big news of the day is Nico Gaetan just signed early this afternoon to Chicago Fire. Now, we all know him from FIFA. He's a dog. He's an Argentinian, as Brady would let me know. Now, Chicago brought him in on a free for 1 season, but they do have an option to extend it to 2, so we'll see how he does. He's 31, played for Benfica for 6 years, played for Atletico Madrid for a year and a half, and he was just recently in the Chinese Super League, so I'm sure he's got sauce left in the tank to show the MLS. So that is our quick recap of everything we've missed since the Tuesday episode. And if you want to keep up to date on all of this, besides our 2 times a week episodes, be sure to follow us on Twitter at OTBounce. Be sure to get on our website where we deliver all types of great articles, blog posts, everything like that. And that is otbounce.com. So let's jump right in to the meat of today's episode, to the thickness of today's episode. We're about to get real girthy with it, which means Josh Jarvis is going first in our fantasy matchups of the week. Now, this is a segment where each of us are going to bring up one key game of the week that has a lot of good fantasy implications. So, Josh Jarvis, kick us off. What is your fantasy matchup of the week?
So I'm going to go against everything you just said and bring up 2 key matchups of the week.
Glutton!
What a guy.
Because the first one is the New York Red Bulls versus San Jose, and it's pretty much completely dependent on the Red Bulls playing their actual starting 11. And if they do that, I'm starting as many Red Bulls as I can. Brandon Wright-Phillips for sure is a start. Kaku is a start. Their goalkeeper, Luis Robles, I guess. Robles.
My lord.
Robles is what I'm calling him. Is a star.
As opposed to Rob Moore.
Correct. You get it.
Rob less on these. Oh, my lord.
That's all so right. Good. And don't start Wando for
Okay.
San Jose. High treason against him because we were so hard on him last week.
Lord.
The quick flip flop.
But yeah, I don't see San Jose scoring at all in this game, so I'm staying away from any of them. And then my second matchup of the week is Atlanta versus Philly.
Okay.
Because this has got to be the week that Atlanta gets something going. My big start from Atlanta is going to be Ezekiel Barco on the wing. I like him in this match. Joseph Martinez has been able to score despite Atlanta having like a terrible first two games.
Yeah.
But I think I'm predicting a 2-0 Atlanta win here.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. They did break
So
their duck in the CCL and finally get that victory. First of the year.
So
Exactly.
you're telling me, Jarvis, you're smelling ATL's finally going to have that breakout week they need in MLS.
That's what I'm smelling. They have too much talent for this to keep going on. And,
Yeah.
they lost 2-0 DC to DC in week 1, but DC's a really, really good team.
True.
And,
Away.
And it could have just been bad form that they, drew with FCC and looked not great. So who knows? But yeah, this is the week. Philly's not a great defense, and I like that Barco pick. He's 7.3 mil this week, so that he's getting down in value, which is when you should buy those boys. We know it. Buy low. All right, Brady, who's your key matchup of the week this week?
So this week, I'm looking at Toronto versus the New England Revolution. This is a
Okay.
home game for Toronto, the lads up in Canada.
The six.
I think there's a lot of fantasy value here, starting some Toronto players. They have the benefit of last week having a bye week, so none of their prices went down, but none of their prices went up either. And guys like Michael Bradley sitting at 9.5 mil, who had a big week, 12 points in week 1. And this guy had 2 goals. So I'm feeling Michael Bradley this week. I feel like he's underpriced, and I feel like that's going to be shooting up. I feel like it's a good value slot. I'm liking their keeper, Alex Bono. This guy's a baller. Great value, 5.6 mil. I think there's shutout potential here. I'm feeling a 2-0 victory for Toronto FC in the frigid Canadian air. It's only 35 degrees calling for this Sunday, but I'm feeling Toronto, boys.
I like it. I like that pick a lot, and I like what you're saying about how Toronto's on a bye, so the value didn't go up. So there's a lot of cheeky snags out there. I like that. That's good stuff from Gravy the Gaffer. 200 IQ. # make a brain. All right, my key matchup of the week is LAFC versus NYCFC. So the reason I'm thinking this is because I think it's going to be one of the highest scoring fantasy points this week. Now, LAFC's been off to a very hot start, and I think they're going to keep it alive, even though this is their first road test. And a lot of people don't like that NYCFC stadium over there for soccer. But these two clubs are on the top of the MLS this season when it comes to shots on goal. LAFC has 13, NYC has 12. So I don't see this being a clean sheet game. I see it being a 3-2, 2-2 type of game. So I'm very comfortable starting either go all out. Get you 3 LAFC boys. Get you 2 NYCFC boys. I see it as a game where you're going to rack in the points. Trust me on this. Trust me on this,
Interesting.
lads. What you got, Gravy?
You know what? Jarvis, hit him with the kangaroo court.
You're taking me to kangaroo court over this?
Jelly the Donut, I am taking you to
Donut.
kangaroo
The donut?
court. LAFC versus NYFC in New York. LAFC's hot. I give you credit. You're picking a hot
Okay.
team. They got Carlos Vela up front. They're feeling it. But we're playing on a baseball field in
not
NYFC.
wrong.
It's going to be cold. It's a 3 p.m. game. They're traveling across the coast. NYFC have only allowed 2 goals this year. I'm not feeling it, lad. I'm feeling like it's going to be a low-scoring affair. That NYFC is going to tighten up that D, throw some boys in the back, sacrifice the boys up front, and try to squeak out a draw against the flaming LAFC boys.
Listen.
So I'm taking you to kangaroo court.
Listen. You can take me to kangaroo court, but would you like to bet a bull on this?
I'm ready to introduce the Begable.
Listen.
Bettable as well.
This is a brand new segment inside of a brand new segment, ladies and germs. Bet a bull. So what's going to happen here, me and Brady are going to set a bet on the LAFC versus NYC game, and the loser has to buy the winner a Red Bull. So shout out to our future sponsors. This segment's going to be a big one when Red Bull finally sponsors us. We've been waiting for this. Okay, Brady, so what's
time.
the bet? What's the over-under? 3 goals
All
in
right,
this game?
we'll say 3 goals. I'll take the under. You take the over. If they score 3 goals total
I like
combined, you win.
So if they score 2, do we buy ourselves a bull?
No, you buy me a bowl.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay,
That's under 3. That's under 3.
Listen, I'll take that. 3 goals is
Deal.
coming in easy. Carlos Vela
Virtual
scoring 3
handshake.
by himself.
I'm not feeling it.
All right, I like it. So the very first bet bull, ladies and gentlemen, you can see the cold Red Bull in my hand Monday morning at OT Bounce on Twitter and at otbounce.com. It's going to be a fun segment. We're going to introduce that all the time when one of us disagrees with the other. So it's going to be fun. So there is our key matchups of the week, and now we're going to move right in to the fantasy starters of the week. So this is a segment where each one of us gives you 3 key players that we think are must starts in your fantasy 11 this week. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it off my way. My first pick is defender from DC United, Joseph Mora. Now this season, Mora has been averaging 6.5 fantasy points, and he's another one of those defenders who we love because they get way up and involved in the attack. He's a fullback, but he gets way up there in the attacks and turned into a winger. So he's only going for $6 million this week, and he's playing what should be another great game in fantasy for DC United and him against Real Salt Lake. Now I think Moore is a safe bet for about 5 to 6 points, which is great in your defense, and he has that potential to always shoot up around 8 to 10, depending on an assist, a couple key passes, big chance creators, always a clean sheet, who knows. So I think this week, Joseph Mora, $6 million, get him in your lineups, and don't fear about him. He's going to get you 5 to 6 minimum. So I like that pick. Jarvis, give me one of your key picks, key starters.
So one of my key starters for the week is going to be Gaston Sorrow, defender for the Columbus Crew. Now, this year, Gaston has had 10 points in week 1 against the Red Bulls and 11 points in week 2 against the Red Bulls. And one of the reasons I love him is the points he's getting is from just being a really good defender, from making good passes, key passes, cleared balls, tackles, stuff like that. He did score, I believe. Yeah, he scored in week 1. But I like him because he has a very high ceiling or high floor rather. Where he's going to give you 6-7 points a week pretty consistently because of just how well he plays and how many passes he completes and tackles and stuff like that. And he also has that ability to maybe get a header off of a corner and get you that extra 6 points.
True.
Yeah, I like that pick. I think he's going to be another solid defender pick that's going to get you a base of 5 to 6. And like you said, he could always shoot up with a nice header goal, those passes, stuff like that. So Brady, what's one of yours?
So, Jarvis, do you think you could, if I got on your back, do you think you could carry me around?
100%.
All right, well, I'm going to piggyback off of your pick and go with another crew member, Zach Steffen, the goalkeeper. I'm throwing him in the net this week. He's averaging 11.5 points per game. This guy's the leading goalkeeping scorer in MLS Fantasy thus far. Home game against FC Dallas. They've only scored 3 goals in 2 games. I'm not too worried about the Dallas offense. I'm not too worried about their forward, Dominic Badgie, who I started last week and was a real disappointment up front. He's only averaging 3.5 points per game. No one in their forwards or midfield on the entire Dallas team are averaging more than 6 points per game. Like I said, Columbus is at home. They're looking strong. Favorable matchup. I'm rolling with Zach Steffen in round 3.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, Brady, go ahead and we'll serpentine our way back to me.
I'll snake it back to you with my guy, someone who I've brought up every podcast, I think, Nick DeLeon. This guy,
yes.
As I talked about, Toronto has a great matchup. My matchup of the week, I'm loving him. I'm sure you guys aren't tired of hearing me talk about this guy, but he's a cheat code. He really is. He's a defender who plays attacking midfielder. He has an insane value, only $5.5 million this week. Last week, he had a bye week, like all the Toronto team. So his value didn't go up. So you can grab this guy at a cheap value. He's going to skyrocket. He's going to go up no matter what, I think. He had 1 goal, 1 assist in that week 1 game. Again, playing as a defender. He gets defensive bonuses. He gets clean sheet bonuses. He played 89 minutes, so he gets the 60-minute bonus. This guy is an automatic start for me. I think every team who's playing in MLS Fantasy this week, I think he's a must start for everyone because he's going to make us all rich men. He's going to go up in value. He's going to shoot up big time. This is a forward playing defender, lads. You got to snag him. It's a necessity.
Grady the Gaffer is adamant, ladies and gentlemen. I would do it. I'd trust him. All right, Jarvis, who's one of your other key starters of the week?
So another key starter for me is going to be Big Paul Areola, midfielder
Big
for
Areola.
DC United. He's had a really good first couple of games, playing the full 90 in both of them, 12 points against Atlanta and 5 fantasy points against NYFC last week. But DC has looked so dominant the past couple of weeks, and they have a pretty favorable matchup against Real Salt Lake, and it's at home. So I like them in this game. I like Paul Areola to get involved, and I'm smelling a goal from him.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, DC's been on a tear. I like many of their midfield and forward options, so that's a safe bet. I like that. I'm going to go ahead and give you my last two, and we'll kick it back to Brady and Jarvis for their lasts. But my first one is a guy who was in my key starters of the week last week. Midfielder from Orlando, Nani. Now listen, if you trusted in me last week to make him a starter, he delivered with a solid 7 points for us. So far in his MLS season, his debut season, he's racked up 2 assists in just over 100 minutes of action. And I think he's in store for a big breakout week this week. So he comes in at 9.4 mil. I think that's a really safe option to start. It's not too much money for a midfielder, but he is a star midfielder, and he's going to show you why against against Montreal this week. So last week, Montreal let Houston take 14 shots and score 2. So I'm looking for Nani to absolutely just bang in the points. I think he's going to get you 10 minimum, maybe 12 or 14. And another reason I think so is because my last pick is a double dip alert, aka a double drip alert. Dom Dwyer,
Alert.
striker from Orlando. I think him and Nani are going to absolutely terrorize Montreal this weekend. I think they're both great starts. Dom Dwyer this week is finally the starter. Like I said earlier in the episode, Tesho is hurt. He's still going to be out this week, so Dom Dwyer looks like he's finally ready to play a full 90. And this season, he's already been very productive, both games off the bench, but he's got 1 goal, 1 assist, leading him to 12 fantasy points already on the season. So I think these are 2 double dips that you should both start. Nani's 9.4 mil, Dom Dwyer is 9.1. So I think they're both going to get you points. Dom's going to score a goal. Trust me, I just smelled it. So go ahead and start Nani and Dom Dwyer, the double dip alert, the double drip alert. Back over to you, Brady, and then Jarvis, finish these key starters out.
All right. How about Wayne Rooney this week, guys?
Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney. This week, Wayne Rooney and the DC United lads are coming up against Real Salt Lake. Week 1, these boys destroyed ATL United at home, and guess what? They're back at home this week where they play outstanding. Although Real Salt Lake have only allowed 1 goal this year, I'm still digging this matchup. I'm really digging it. Rooney's due for a goal. We all know it. He's the corner kick taker. He's really running the offense. Him and his compadre, Lucho Acosta, the real legend. I think there is a really good floor for Rooney. I think there's at least 6 to 7 points, and I think he's going to rise in value no matter what, which is like all I'm looking for in a floor for a forward, especially with all the bad forward play we had last week. I'm really feeling Rooney this week. There's points to be had. There's budget to be made for Rooney this week. I'm strongly considering this man for my captain's choice. I didn't pick him due to another lad, but I think it's a great captain's choice if you do go with it. Only 10.5 mil this week. Start Rooney.
I like it. Hashtag start Wayne Rooney. I dig it.
Rooney.
All right, Jarvis, who's your last key starter of the week?
So my last key starter for the week is going to be Big Tim Malia, goalkeeper for Sporting Kansas City. I love it. He had a fantastic week last week with 15 points. I think he got overshadowed a bit by Zach Steffen because he had a monstrous game, I believe, with 18 points. But yeah, he has been looking really great the last week. Week 1 against LAFC, it was a rough game, but LAFC looks so good. You can't really fault him too much for that. They have a really favorable matchup this week against Colorado. We know that Tim Malia saves penalties
at an astonishing rate.
At an astonishing rate. Legitimately one of the best goalkeepers in the league. So he's someone I'm probably going to be starting really for the rest of the season. Maybe avoid it, during like the top 3 teams, but other than that, rolling him out every week.
I dig it. Those are good picks. All right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are our key starters of the week in fantasy. You got 3 from each of us. So let us know. Hit us up at OT Bounce on Twitter. Hit us up on our website, otbounce.com. Let us know if you took any of this advice. Show us your starting 11s. We'll let you know how we feel about them. Let us know if you agree or disagree with any of our picks. Let's bet a bull with each other. But let's jump right in to the last segment of today's episode, which is the Captain's Log. Now, this is a quick segment that you guys heard on episode 1, and it's just a real cool little segment where each of us give you our captain's pick of the week. So I'm going to go ahead and give it right back over to you, Jarvis. Who's your captain's pick of the week?
So I'm going to go with, if he plays, Brandon Wright Phillips is someone that you have to roll out as a captain this week.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going for $10.5 million, playing against San Jose, who I think is the worst team in the league. And I expect him to have a really, really big game if he does play. If he does not play, I'm rolling back out with Jesse Zardes again. I told you last week to have him as your captain. It paid off big. I'm telling you again to do it. $9.7 million.
Hey, do it.
Just do
Simple.
it, boys. And it's a good matchup against Dallas, so yeah.
Okay, I like them. All right, Brady, who's your captain of the week?
Lads, lend me your ears.
You literally have
Joey, tell me what's your favorite type of rue? Hell.
Yeah, a shrubbery.
Right. Don't answer.
Shrubbery rue. Okay.
Jarvis, don't answer, Jarvis. Because your obvious favorite type of rue is the Lucho Rue. My captain's pick for this week. Lucho Acosta, the lad from DC United. I'm telling you what, last week I told you to pick Carlos Vela, home run. This man was the highest scoring forward in the league. He performed amazing. And, I'm a little worried about him this week against NYFC, so I'm slopping over here to Lucho and his lad, Wayne Rooney. I'm feeling Lucho as the captain's pick this week. He's a little bit safer. He's in the midfield. I feel like there's a better floor. He's averaging 9.5 points per game. For all the reasons I picked Rooney for my key players, I'm carrying those over to Lucho. I mean, this is a favorable matchup. They're at home. High floor for both of these guys. I think Rooney might have a bigger ceiling just because of the goal scoring, but Lucho also he knocks in goals all the time just as well. And I mean, this is the best stack of the week for me. The Lucho Rue. DC United are tough. DC United are feeling the fire under their ass from last year when they lost to Atlanta United in the MLS Cup final, and they're gonna play their heart out. They already have been at the beginning of the season, and they're gonna continue. I feel a big win this week, and I feel big points from the Lucho Rue stack.
I dig it. I'm not mad at either of those picks. I also think they're going to ball out. So I like that captain's pick of the week with Lucho Rue. Either one. So now my captain's pick of the week is Captain Carlos Vela. I'm doubling down on LAFC and NYC game being a high-scoring affair. So like Brady said, if you took his advice last week with Carlos Vela, he dropped a fat with a PH 32 points for you. And for me, Carlos is looking like a guy that you have to captain almost every week, and this week is no difference. So he's averaging 10 points a game, not too bad, but he's got 1 goal, 2 assists, should be 3 assists. He's created 5 key passes, and he's taken 11 shots on goal. So this man has been all over defenses so far in the MLS season, and I can't wait for him to do it again in my key game of the week against NYC FC. It's pretty plain and simple. Spend 11.3 on him and let him carry him. Let him carry you and me to a top 20, top 15 finish this week in week 3 in your leagues. So that's my captain pick of the week. I feel like you can't go wrong with any of those 3. But let us know again. Let us know if you agree with those. Let us know if you used them. And we'll talk about it on the next episode if they paid off. So, boys, anything else we're forgetting before we hit the outro? Anything other news or anything you want to let them know before we move on?
Quick picks for the FCC game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's have our quick picks on what we think the FCC game is going to be. Brady, why don't you kick it off? You brought it up.
I'll kick it off. I'm feeling it this week, lads. It's the FCC home opener, their first game in the MLS. Us three lads have been to each and every one of FCC's openers throughout the USL, throughout their existence in the USL.
Correct.
And they just play in an electric environment. The fans are behind them. The Bailey is just the loudest thing ever. I don't think there's any way that FCC comes out of here without a win. The Timbers have been awful on defense. They've allowed the most goals the entire season. If you watched the FCC Atlanta game, you saw that Adi knocked the goal in. They got called back on a pretty bad offside call.
Sus.
We got Kenny Saif coming in the midfield. Hopefully going to start right off the bat. I'm just feeling it. I'm feeling a 2-0 victory.
I'm right there with you, lad.
From our lads in Cincinnati.
Yep, and Alan Koch just said today this is the healthiest FCC's been all season. So we got all of our weapons. We're at home, like you said. They already said it's 30K plus, going to be a sellout. So that
Gonna be nuts.
Nipper is going to be rocking. We're going to be there this weekend, flexing out. I'm with you, 2-0. We might even hit him with a 3-piece. Who knows? But Jarvis, what are you feeling?
I'm feeling a close 1-0 win for FCC.
Okay.
I'm feeling we're going to score
Traitor.
in the second half, and then in extra time, Portland's going to be streaking down, wide open net, and they're going to see me truffle shuffling shirtless, and he's going to pass out, and we're going to win.
Yeah.
All right.
I buy that.
I buy it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what Jarvis just said. That's 100% factual.
And Jarvis will actually get a fantasy point for that.
For that, you
So-
get it.
To
A
start your
managerial
Jarvis's,
fantasy
Start
point.
your Jarvises this week.
Start them. You have to. The truffle shuffle hits different.
one
All right,
quick
boys.
more thing before we go. Halftime, Sporting is tied 0-0, and Daniel Saloy, a forward for Sporting Kansas, got hurt and had to get subbed out in the 21st. So be on the lookout for that.
All right, there you go. So there's our last hope for CCL MLS clubs. They got 45 more minutes to score 2 goals. It's gonna be tough. I'll definitely be watching that when we edit this podcast. But that'll do it for episode 3 of On the Bounce podcast. Thank you all for listening. Once again, you can catch this on SoundCloud for now, Spotify, and iTunes. So be sure to get on all of those. Follow us, leave us some comments and reviews, let us know how we're doing, and thank you all for listening. If this was your first time, please reach out, let us know how we're doing, how it sounds, all that good crisp jazz. But that's going to do it today for me, JK, Gravy the Gaffer, Big Baby the
Oi.
Truffle Shuffle.
Oi.
We are going to get up and out of here, lads. We will see you back with episode 4 on Tuesday. Deuces.
Later.